don't think it's too incredibly deep, but I think it's important for us to understand really what's going on with Amazon and how it pertains to us, either as affiliates or people running merchant programs. So Amazon, how many here have heard of Amazon? It's dominating the headlines lately. It's getting bigger and bigger. And if you're old like I am, you've seen what they've come from. They started out as an online bookstore, and they've just started to expand into all sorts of different verticals. And they're just dominating wherever they go. It seems like they are into everything, and each of these makes them money, and they're typically disruptive in what they do in these different verticals. And not here really to talk about what they're doing in terms of that, but I wanted to kind of lay the groundwork for Amazon and just how massive they are and how important it is for us to understand as merchants or as publishers what they're doing. So they bought Whole Foods, just over $13 billion, not a big deal. Whenever they get into another industry, or they even talk about getting into another industry, it makes headlines. This headline is Blue Apron kind of freaking out because they were supposedly going to get into the home food delivery stuff as well. Sears recently has decided to start selling Kenmore brand on Amazon, and that's considered a big deal because it's almost like raising the white flag and saying, okay, yeah, you're doing it better than we are. We'll just go ahead and sell through you guys. Now, what they're doing seems to be doing anyone who's invested in them a big favor. Their stock is up 35% this year, and just in the last week or so, it was announced that Jeff Bezos is now the richest man in the world, surpassing Bill Gates. So, yeah, Amazon is doing some things right. But not everybody loves them. If you look at the headlines, there are a lot of people talking now monopoly and wanting to break them up. They are getting really big, and it is almost like they are considered a lot of times to be the Walmart of online, and just shutting down the smaller players. And so people do talk about breaking them up. But they continue on. They continue to look at different industries. They're now looking at automotive, and I can easily see an an Amazon cars option as well, and I'm sure they would do well in that. One thing that they're doing that this headline caught my eye, and read the article, and it's really interesting. They're looking to expand globally. They're kind of dominating here domestically, and so this is an interesting approach they're taking. They're actually approaching U.S. retailers and saying, hey, we will pay you full price for your goods, just send us your product, because they're going to turn around and sell them to their global audience, and they'll still be able to make money because they live on thin margins, and so buying it at full price, they just mark it up a little bit globally, and they're going to be fine. But they want to really expand their reach globally as well. And like I said, anyone who is keeping an eye on Amazon will look at it and say, okay, well, if they're even talking about getting into my industry, then that's going to make me really nervous. And so people do get nervous when Amazon considers even approaching their industry. And this here talks about Nike and how Nike is starting to work with Amazon now. And so I've given a lot of sessions on merchants selling their goods, and if they want to work with retailers or who they want to work with, and why it's important for them to work with affiliates and why that's the best option. But I always talk about this pendulum, and so it usually starts out where you say, okay, I'm a new brand and I need to get my name out there, and typically you go to a retailer and you say, hey, Sears or JCPenney or Nordstrom or whatever the big retailer is, I want to sell my product through your company. Now, as a smaller brand, you're getting a lot of value by being able to sell through them, and you rely on that retailer's brand to sell your product. As your brand starts to gain momentum, it becomes more valuable, more and more valuable, and then say Nike itself. Nike's a big brand. They started out selling through all these different retailers, but now Nike's brand themselves becomes huge, and the pendulum swifts to where people or consumers consider Nike more credible and more desirable than the retailer itself. And this article went into detail about saying, okay, now the pendulum is kind of shifting back, especially when it comes to Amazon. If you're a brand selling on Amazon, a lot of people are buying simply because it's Amazon. Not as much because it's your brand. And so this was really interesting to me to see that people are looking at it saying the pendulum's kind of shifting back, especially in Amazon's case. And I'll look into that a little bit more, but it's not all rosy. It's not all unicorns and rainbows when it comes to Amazon. There are some issues you have to deal with, and we're going to delve into a few of those in a few slides here. But there are issues in and around pricing. That seems to be the biggest problem when it comes to Amazon, fraud and pricing. But we're going to focus more on the pricing side of it. It's all about the discounts, and you can get into some serious trouble if you don't control the pricing on Amazon. And it looks like they themselves have gotten into trouble with a number of merchants, and we'll look into that a little further. But why is this important? This is important because 1 in 2 product searches starts on Amazon now. So it blows me away. I've been doing this type of presentation for a few years now, and when I first started, I guess I did it in Las Vegas at Affiliate Summit West a year and a half ago, and it was 1 in 3. It was 34%. It is now something like 52% of all product searches starts on Amazon. So that means that if somebody's looking for a widget, your purse or your bag or your shoes or whatever it is, more than half of them are going to start on Amazon. So you have to ask yourself, what will they find when they search on Amazon for my brand? And so there are a couple of different ways that your brand works with Amazon, and I wanted to go over those so you understand what the options are. And it looks like it's kind of cutting the top of that off there, but hopefully that's okay. So the first option here is to just be a merchant that says, hey, I'm going to fulfill myself. I'm going to use Amazon, and I'm going to fulfill as the merchant. So it's fulfilled by merchant. And the next option is to be fulfilled by Amazon, and that's where you ship them product, and then they handle all of the fulfillment side of it. But you still have control of pricing and the whole look and feel for the customer. And the third one here is the ships from and sold by Amazon. And this is one where you can get into trouble. It's kind of the lazy approach that people take. But what will happen is somebody says, I'm just going to set it and forget it. I'm going to ship them a bunch of product and let them handle it, just like they would in a normal retail relationship. Send it to them. Yeah, we have MAP pricing policies and different things like that, but we'll just work with them like we do with any other retailer. And there are some issues with that, and I'll go into that in a couple of slides here. So again, just for clarification, fulfilled by merchant means that you as a merchant decide, I'm going to work with Amazon, but I still want to just handle everything myself. I'm just going to use their platform. It's great. It's got a good customer experience. When I make a sell, it comes in, I fulfill it, I handle all the inventory, and then you just give Amazon a commission for them letting you use their interface, basically. And the next option here is fulfilled by Amazon, and this one is desirable in my mind because you send it to Amazon and it's like selling it on consignment. You send them the inventory, and the only time that you pay Amazon anything, you pay them a little bit for a warehousing fee, but you pay them if someone makes a purchase. So it's kind of like an affiliate relationship in a way. But the big thing here is you get to control the pricing on it. And so Amazon doesn't have the ability to really deflate your prices. This third one here is the sold by Amazon. And again, I consider this one kind of the lazy approach. But for a lot of bigger brands especially, they'll just say, hey, why not treat them like a normal retailer? They send them all of their inventory, sell it to them wholesale, and kind of forget about it. But there are some pitfalls to that, and I'll go over that here shortly. So here are a couple of samples. This first client here has decided to fulfill by merchant. And so we actually had them test on fulfilled by Amazon, but because it's a bigger product, and the weight and the dimensions and everything makes it a little bit different. It was tougher to do fulfilled by Amazon. But this product, you can see, it's kind of hard to see there, but it says ships from and sold by Clearly Tough. And so this is something I've been dealing with for a long time, so I always look for that to see who I'm actually buying it from. Am I buying it from the merchant? Am I buying it from Amazon? Who am I buying it from? Because that kind of gives me an idea of who, from a customer service perspective, I would be dealing with. And so in this case, it really is the merchant here, Clearly Tough, that is selling this product. And they're still able to get good reviews, and they're able to maintain their pricing. And they've chosen to have a bit of a discount there, but it's not a huge discount. It looks like it's down from $450 down to $400. So, 10-12% discount. This example here is fulfilled by Amazon, and this is a really good example. This is a program that is run by a colleague of mine, and he basically set them up so that they send the inventory to Amazon and then have Amazon fulfill it. But again, it's kind of a consignment basis. So what's beautiful about this is if you look at the pricing on it, it ends up being full retail price. They don't have any sort of a discount on there. Yet they're still doing big volume. You can see the number of reviews on there, and you see it says sold by TRX Training and fulfilled by Amazon. So that's kind of the ultimate situation if you can get the volume but still maintain that pricing control. This is an example I ran into that says sold by Amazon. It's Lifetime. They do a lot of the different sporting and kayak stuff, and tables and chairs, and a number of different products. But it says here, ships from and sold by Amazon. And as you look at it, it says the starting list price is $149 and the discount price is $120. So as I was doing research for this, I actually went back to check on it a few days later, and you can see that it went down another 20%. So it went down to $89 on it. So I was kind of fascinated by the fact that it discounted so quickly, because this was right in line with what I'd been seeing with some other merchants. But the deal is the starting point was wrong. So if you go back and you look at how it's listed on Amazon, it's listed at $149.99, but the actual retailer listed at $189.99. And I checked the SKU and made sure this is the exact same product. So we have a couple of things going on here that are making it so that a customer is going to look at this and say, hey, this product, I can get this product for $89. And the price point, the merchant themselves, they want to sell it for $189. So you've got a customer that says, hey, I'm going to get this at this great deal. If the purchase happens on Amazon, Lifetime doesn't own that customer at all. That's an Amazon customer. So not only are they selling it for less than half of their retail price, but they don't even own that customer, and they don't have a lifetime value or a chance to remarket to that customer. And so that was the first example that I saw that was a sold by Amazon sample that was kind of a bad example, and one that I'd been intimately aware of because they're a client of mine. And I actually did a RevShare Roundup table with these guys a little bit earlier. But this is Catadine, and they're a global brand, very well respected, and been around for decades. This is a ships from and sold by Amazon. If you look at the pricing here, it says it's a $249 product. Well, I happen to know that it's not a $249 product, so it kind of got my attention. That's actually more than $100 less than retail price. And I checked it a little bit later, and they'd actually bumped the starting price, and then they'd put a discount to it. So this is Amazon just kind of messing with the pricing. And again, it's because when you're doing sold by Amazon, Amazon controls that pricing. And you can complain to them, you can talk to them and say, hey, you're violating our MAP policies. And a lot of times they just, the excuse that they gave here was that, hey, your other dealers are setting low prices, and so we have to own the buy box. And owning the buy box is right here where it says add to cart. You have a bunch of different merchants here that are competing for that buy box, and Amazon wants to own the buy box. That's kind of their deal, right? And so they push their price as low as possible to match with the other ones. And so we're working to try to get these dealers to adhere to MAP so that we can say, look, you're the only one that's violating MAP, and so knock it off, or we're going to have some problems with this and have to rethink our relationship. But if you look at this, again, the price point, the starting price point is $369.95. And so you've got $100 difference, $120 difference in the starting price point that Amazon had listed, and then they discount even further. So you're looking at about a third off that people are seeing on Amazon. And if somebody purchases on Amazon, again, Catadyne does not own that customer data. They can't remarket to them, and there's a lot less value in a sale like that. So how does this affect the affiliate channel? If I'm an affiliate, I'm looking at it saying, okay, hey, I love the Catadyne Pocket. That's a great product. I want to sell it. I'm totally excited about it. And they write up this article, this review, and they say, hey, this is a great product. You should buy it. Where do you think that the link here is going to go? It's going to go to Amazon. And the reason for that, I mean, a lot of affiliates understand Amazon has, you know, a session-based cookie. It's less than 1 day, and the commissions are typically lower. But as an affiliate, I'm going to say, okay, well, where is a customer most likely to buy? Are they going to buy on the merchant site or somebody else's site? And if it's somebody else's site and that site has an affiliate program, of course I'm going to work with them, because that price difference is just too much to pass up. Same thing here. Review, it's a glowing review right up, and it links to Amazon. And then this is even another example where a lot of comparison sites will say, here's the review. These are the places you can buy it. And if you have a bunch of places you can buy it, where are you going to point to? You're gonna get people to link to Amazon because of the price difference. And so Amazon does a few things that are really, really attractive. And you want to avoid that situation as an affiliate manager, or when you're running a program. You're going to want to do a few things, to combat this. And so you have to understand Amazon's buying experience and what makes it so attractive to customers. They do a few different things. First off, price. That's something that's going to be really, really attractive. And so if you want to compete on price, maybe you come up with some ways of discounting through your affiliate channel that give the affiliates the opportunity to compete with Amazon on price, because again, that's a big step to conversion. And if you're competing for that, Amazon can't be that much cheaper than you, because if they're much cheaper than you, then affiliates are going to go that route. The other thing is distribution. Amazon offers 1 million products, and so I know a lot of affiliates that will just say, hey, I just sell on Amazon because I can sell pretty much whatever I need to. If I'm looking for something, I'm going to find that as an option. And then delivery. Prime is a thing of beauty. I mean, Prime is going to increase your conversions incredibly, and so that's something that they do really, really well. And then the user experience. They pretty much wrote the book on the shopping cart experience. So they do things really, really well. But when it comes to how you should work with them in terms of your affiliate program, there are some do's and some don'ts. Again, they're huge, so you need to know that it's an opportunity that can't be missed. You want to work with them, you want to take advantage of their massive reach, but you need to be strategic in how you do that. So the most strategic thing, or most valuable thing I think I can leave with you, is the idea that you want to be able to control your pricing. Because if you don't control your pricing, you're going to have the issues that I talked about, where more of the sales go through Amazon, and then you don't have that opportunity to remarket, and you lose that opportunity for lifetime value of a new customer to your data file. And then do everything you can to make your site's shopping experience attractive. Don't look at Amazon and just kind of throw your hands up. Say, what are they doing and why are they so successful, and how can we mimic that? So again, those are the do's, and then the don'ts. Don't allow Amazon to devalue your brand. And again, that comes down to the pricing side of it. If you maintain control of the pricing, then you're going to be able to maintain the value, or the perceived value, that your brand and your brand's products have. And then finally, don't let affiliates think that they're going to be better served by sending traffic somewhere else. You want to make sure that they know that if they send traffic to your site, you can reward them, and it will be as beneficial to them doing that as sending it to Amazon, or even more so. You want to do things that are creative and strategic to make them really want to push to your site instead of to Amazon's. And it looks like I've gone 1.5 minutes over what I was supposed to, but I've been asked to leave the last 5 to 10 minutes for questions and answers. So I'm happy to take any questions that anyone has. I know it's a lot of material to go over, and there are probably a lot of questions to have. So we have a mic there in the middle, or if you've got a loud voice, and just go ahead and speak up. Questions? Right here in the front.
Regarding the buy box, if you could elaborate on that. I mean, is usually the lowest price the winning buy box?
Yeah, Amazon has an algorithm. It's kind of like Google, and it's got the algorithm that you've got to try to meet certain criteria. So the price is probably the most important thing, but it's also conversion, and it's also they've got a handful of things. And if you reach out to me afterwards, I can kind of point you to what that algorithm looks like. But it is kind of a secret sauce. It's almost like SEO in the search world. And so they have a number of things, but price would be the most important, but that's not the only factor. Right here, sorry.
Do you know if a merchant takes the option of doing fulfillment by Amazon and not sold by Amazon, is Prime still an option at that point?
It is, and that's a good question. So you're going to want Prime. Prime was typically only available for sold by Amazon. I think that was the original option available, and it was very, very attractive. Fulfilled by Amazon, you do get fulfilled by Prime, or you get the Prime option because they're handling the fulfillment, and they know that they're going to get the 2-day delivery, or they're going to get the best of practice, or best practices when it comes to fulfillment. They have recently come up with something called seller fulfilled Prime, and so that was that first, or one of those slides that I showed there. But to qualify for seller fulfilled Prime, you have to be able to ship 2-day air and a couple of different things. There are certain things that you have to be able to prove that you're capable of to be eligible for seller fulfilled Prime, but that you can get that Prime badge even fulfilled by merchant if you follow certain steps.
My understanding that seller fulfilled Prime is by invitation only. It's for very large, not open as an option.
So yeah, the question, I think this is being videoed, so I'll repeat that. Seller fulfilled Prime not being available for, or by invitation only. That is something that I've seen with our client here that was represented, that was fulfilled by merchant. They do 100, 150 sales a month. They're larger ticket items, but I don't know that they would be considered a huge seller, and they've had multiple options or opportunities to do the seller fulfilled Prime. They haven't acted on it yet. I think there are a couple of internal things that they need to work on, but I don't know that it's invitation only. But I know this client did get a number of, they've been pushed. Amazon's actually almost begging them to, hey, you need to do that. Yeah. Okay. A question back here. Really, well, what it comes down to is active management of the program. So just like you have search engine optimization or optimization of other programs, if you're running an affiliate program, active management versus passive management is going to yield better results. If you have active management, then fulfilled by Amazon is the way to go. But you have things to consider, like, do they have the inventory they need? You're going to ship to 5 different warehouses across the country so that they can do the fulfilled by Prime, or the Prime fulfillment. It's shipped super quickly, and they don't have to go all the way across the country when it comes to shipping. But you have to be aware how much inventory is in this warehouse and in this warehouse, and do we have everything that we need? If we're running out of inventory, is that an issue? And so there are a lot of things that are just management, administrative things that need to be taken care of. But if you do that right, fulfilled by Amazon really is the way to go.
Well, that's still to talk to that point, is that if they're shipping it out of their own warehouse versus having to ship it to 5 different Amazon warehouses, what have you found? I'm just wondering what your client's satisfaction with Amazon running it versus their own satisfaction with running it internally. It's nice that, at the end of the thing, it really matters what the client that you find it for. What's the best experience for them?
It's been kind of mixed, and honestly, I think what it comes down to is operations efficiency of the client. If it's the client that really understands their inventory levels and really understands how to get the product where it needs to be within the Amazon environment, they're very, very satisfied. If it's a client that has issues with saying, oh, you know, I'm running out of inventory here, some of these logistical things that become a problem, then Fulfilled by Amazon can be an issue, because it's typically not on Amazon's side. If you're managing it well, it's the way to go. But if you have internal logistical or operations issues, then you end up typically having issues with Fulfilled by Amazon as well. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, it makes sense, but it's still, if they're having problems internally, they're going to still have problems with the Amazon running their program. So as a typical customer coming that's using your services or whatever your consulting services, what do you recommend them to start with? Running internally or running through Amazon fulfillment?
Yeah, I think so. There has been some transition with some clients where if they go sold by Amazon first and then to fulfilled by Amazon, that can be a little bit painful, because there are two different departments within Amazon and they supposedly are siloed. And so if it's sold by Amazon, they have different goals than the fulfilled by Amazon group does as well. So the sold by Amazon, you know, that's why they can get their prices, or they lower their prices as much as they do, is because they're not necessarily rewarded on the dollar volume, but more units sold. Their idea is to get the stuff out of the warehouse, you know, and then on the fulfilled by Amazon side, it's more about the commissions that they earn, or the revenues they earn. So they're competing incentives, I guess, depending on which program you go with. And so, if you have follow-up questions, go ahead and reach out afterwards. I think that'd be great. I thought I saw another hand on the other side. Okay, my name is Paul. I didn't lead with that, and my contact information is here. I'd be happy to answer any questions, or point you in the right direction when it comes to Amazon and ways to make it work for you rather than against you. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your afternoon and evening. Thanks.